Hello and welcome to another video update from the farm. It's 2nd August 2025. Time is very close to 1 o'clock right now. It's extremely hot. There has been absolutely no rain whatsoever. The biggest update is we have exhausted all the drip irrigation material that came as part of the subsidy schemes. Most of it is done, just this section is pending. We have to get some more material. This is probably around 3/4, maybe like half an acre. That section is also done, just this section is pending and we have to do a few sublines. Just to explain that a little bit, as you probably know from the earlier videos, we have installed 3-inch mainline pipes everywhere, and from the 3-inch mainline pipe we have a small reducer from 3-inch to 2-inch, that is 90 mm to 63 mm, and then we have a 2-inch gate valve. Then we have left the sublines open earlier. That's this pipe. And now what we have done is we have connected this elbow, and then from there all of the sublines go. So for instance, this subline goes into the soil here, and then it runs straight all the way till the end of this plot. This is a 2-inch subline. We dug trenches manually this time, since we have already finished the other major trenching work in the farm. The subline trench, we had to do it with manual labor. I think they took about probably 20 to 25 labor days to finish this, and we dug trenches at about 1.5 to like 2 feet depth, and we first laid the 2-inch sublines. And on the sublines we had drilled small holes, 16 mm holes with the drilling bit. We connected a grommet, and then we took off these plain laterals from the sublines. And here we used just a regular connector to connect the laterals, and these are 16 mm laterals spaced at about 30 centimeters. That's about 1 feet spacing between the two drippers. So as you see here, these are inline drippers. System is working as intended. We have tried it, although we have not fully finished the work. In the sections where we have finished, we just tried checking the pressure, and it is definitely working as intended. We are getting enough pressure from the submersible open well motor that we fixed earlier. Although we have not measured the pressure, like I don't know how much kg per centimeter square pressure is coming. We had designed it for about 5, maybe slightly higher at the source, like probably 5.5 to 6 kg per centimeter square. And as we go through the farm, we made sure that it won't drop below like 3 to 4 kg per centimeter square. That has just been the design based on the flow and some of the other scientific aspects that we learned. But otherwise we are getting enough pressure for now. So we tried irrigating this section yesterday and it was fine. The good thing is we still have probably a bit more pressure on the system, because when opening the main line we controlled the pressure of the main line. If you recollect, there's a small gate valve that we have kept in the main line to just leave water back into the tank, right? And that is just to regulate the pressure. So if we close that valve fully, the pressure will be full, but then we irrigated this with just half of it open. That way we could ensure that the pressure can be controlled. So long story short, I think we should be able to irrigate at least 1 acre at any given point of time. That way, since we have 5 acres, we can irrigate 1 acre at a time. So I'll probably give a better update later once we test all the fields. But at the moment, the news is we are getting good pressure. It's working as intended. On the beds, like I mentioned earlier, these beds are roughly about 15 to 16 feet wide, and there are 5 lines of lateral pipes in every bed, and then there will be 1 line in every trench. The idea is we will give Jivamrita along with drip irrigation, and with Jivamrita hopefully we will have good microorganisms culture that will break down all of the mulching that we will do here. As far as mulching is concerned, the Kambu and the Kapundu, that is pearl millet and dencha, growth is, I would say, slightly below average, maybe really below average, because there were no rains. Now that we have this drippers, we hopefully can irrigate it if we have water, but water source is also very low right now, because our motor, which used to run for like almost an hour earlier with a half an hour break, right now is running only at about like 15 minutes run and probably an hour of off time. So clearly the water is depleting right now. Unless it rains, it's very hard to keep irrigating with just very little source of water. And hopefully over time, when earthworms come everywhere with Jivamrita and all the mulching, they will dig pores everywhere and water can be retained much better, and the borewell will also get recharged faster. Maybe we have to do a few recharge bits. So the water source is slowly depleting right now until the rainy season starts. We are almost at the end of summer now. In fact, rains will ideally start at this time, monsoon, in this area. So I'm just counting on the rains to come very quickly. Unlike Bangalore, where it has been raining very well, I'm just hoping it will start now. So coming back to the status of these plants, Kambu and Thakkapundu. Kambu has come out relatively better. I don't see a lot of Thakkapundu, which means our mix will still have only a lot of carbon coming from the monocots Kambu and very little nitrogen from dencha, which is Thakkapundu. So we have to do probably some adjustments. We will need to do some sort of a pulse, like a horse gram or anything, so that we can cultivate them and put it back to the trench. I'm thinking these will take probably another 2 months to fully grow. Once they mature, only then we will cut them and put it back into the soil. So those are the main updates. So largely the drip irrigation setup is done, except for the front part. I would say it's like 85 to 90% complete. We will still need to fix the filters. That's the next step. We will have to do a base, set up the tanks for Jivamrita preparation, set up some sort of filter for filtering out Jivamrita. And then on the motor, right now we have fixed a timer which automatically turns off and turns on based on a set duration. But right now we've disconnected it because we don't want the motor to run dry. So for that also we are thinking about installing one dry run protection from L&T. It will cost about 3K. The timer costed us about 1.5K, 1.6K I think. But with that, hopefully we can get the automation that we wanted on the water side. As long as there's water, I think we should be fine. So things should start improving after the rain start. So that's the next steps. Apart from that, we have some infrastructure work to do, like painting. We still haven't closed those gaps in the interlock bricks. That work is pending. Painting of iron work like grills and railings, those are also pending. Those will have to be done. I'm just thinking we can deprioritize them at the moment. For now, the priority is to just finish the remaining drip irrigation setup, finish filters, and then we have to start planting trees. Clearly, I mean, the starting set of trees, we are thinking about those timber trees. Like roughly we may get about 100 trees, 100 saplings rather, different types. We thought about like 12 to 14 types depending on availability. We have to get like teak, neem, malavembu, mahogany, and there's a set. I'll probably share the list at a later point of time after we buy them, but that will be sort of the next step. The farm pond, at the moment nothing to be done. We just need to wait for rains for this to set, and then maybe we should just get some lake bed soil, spread them so that we can prevent water percolation into soil. Given that this is red soil, at least partially red soil, there will be a lot of percolation of water, but once we spread the black dark soil from the lake bed, percolation can be controlled. If that doesn't work, then we'll have to think of an alternative like a rubber sheet, which I want to avoid as much as possible, but if there's absolutely no way out, then we'll have to take it up. As far as the solar setup is concerned, once again, there are a lot of weeds around the perimeter of the farm, and whenever the weeds touch these solar lines, solar fencing lines, then the voltage drops and then we don't get full power in the solar system. So that is a bit of an issue. So we are still employing manual labor to clear them, but just exploring an idea to install some sort of a thick mulching sheet just below the fence for the entire perimeter. That way we could control weeds, but I don't know whether that will work, so we're still exploring different options. At the moment we are just clearing them manually and it's a bit of a hassle. All right friends, that's all the updates that I had. I'll see you on a different video later. Bye.